we need to actually go over who the players are in the story to kind of give our listeners some context of this story. So let's start with Casey Anthony. Who is Casey Anthony?
So Casey Anthony is the mother of baby Kaylee Anthony, the daughter of, oh my goodness, you're going to have to remind me of her mom and dad's name. George is her
Cindy
father's name.
was the mother,
Cindy.
and George was the father.
Cindy and George Anthony. So they're the grandparents of Kaylee Anthony. Kaylee is the decedent. She was the baby that was murdered, I believe, by Casey.
Now let's give some context here to Casey Anthony. I have here she was born March 19th, 1986. I can't really do the math of that quickly here, but I'm going to guess she's about 22 years of age when this murder took place. All right, lived in Orlando, Florida. You already mentioned parents George and Cindy. Daughter Kaylee. Kaylee was born August 9th, 2005. That would put her at about 3 years old. I guess maybe 2, almost 3 when this incident took place. And so father, unknown. You don't really know who the father was?
Yeah. She was a young mom and resided and was raising Kaylee in her home, childhood home with her parents. So Kaylee's grandparents.
So
they all lived in the same house
with her parents, Cindy and George. Now, Cindy was a registered nurse. George was a former deputy sheriff in Ohio, which is kind of interesting.
Sure. So the books that I've read indicate that they were kind of enmeshed. There's reports that when when Casey gave birth to Kaylee, the first person to hold Kaylee was Cindy instead of Casey. And I think that speaks, I'm not a therapist, but I think that speaks really loudly about the family dynamic and the roles that they played. The Cindy and George I am pretty sure have been pretty open about, in a roundabout way, about how bad they enabled Casey her entire life. Casey, still lived at home. She was dependent on her parents for support.
So that's an interesting dynamic that you were just describing, that she's 22 years of age, did not go to college, and she kind of worked, maybe didn't work, but she's living with her parents. And so her parents probably still felt like they were maybe raising the grandchild, but hoping maybe their daughter would be more proactive in making decisions for her child. So I guess you kind of see that dynamic going on in that household.